10 years have passed since first Mr Maisky came to London to represent the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. In those 10 years, he has become a popular figure with the British people, familiar at Soviet occasions in this country, memorials to his great compatriots, delivery of tanks for Russia, presentations to British airmen. What is deserving of wider knowledge is the constructive part which he has played for many years in Anglo-Soviet relations. His signature on various treaties has represented the fruition of his patient efforts to hasten the rapprochement of our two countries. Mr Maisky was one of the very, very few foreigners who in the darkest days of 1940 believed in Britain's ability to survive. His reports to his government were framed accordingly. In the Soviet embassy in Kensington Palace Gardens, the ambassador has a home in which he takes great delight. When he first came to London, he could almost fancy that he was living in the country, so quiet were his surroundings and the silence overhead. And that fancy has been dispelled by the blitzes and by the drone of aeroplanes in the sky. So Mr Maisky said in an interview he gave to Mr George Bilainkin, the author and diplomatic correspondent, filmed exclusively by Movietone.
The change that has taken place in the state of the sky is a symbol of the tremendous changes that have taken place in the world during my 10-year stay in London as ambassador of the USSR.
And now, sir, what of Anglo-Soviet relations during this period?
The curve was very uneven. There were many ups and downs. But eventually, our two countries come together in the common fight against the common enemy and to a military and political alliance for the next 20 years. Of course, I tried to do my best during these 10 years to further this trend of development. And I am happy to say that the rapprochement between Great Britain and the Soviet Union was supported by many people on the British side. This eventually resulted in the Treaty of Alliance.
And now, what of the future?
My thoughts regarding the future can be summed up very briefly. Complete victory over our common enemy. Great work of reconstruction in Europe and elsewhere after the victory. But first prerequisite for all that is a close fighting alliance between the armed forces of Great Britain, the United States of America, and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics.